Bit. Okay, so good evening all.
Good evening, sir.
Right, so first let me introduce myself as my name is Amos Emmanuel. I run Programmers Foundation, and I was just made to speak with somebody of some members of the Youth Service Corps, and I may just want to have one or two mentorship words to share tonight. The message or the information came rather very impromptu. And at the same time, I was to do this with some other assignments that I'd concluded earlier in the day at one of the tertiary institutions in the country, particularly Mountaintop University earlier in the day, where I had the opportunity of engaging with the undergraduates there. But then, same way, and in same vein, for some of our members of the Youth Service Corps, at this stage, it's actually a time when we've had our time way back then on our respective degree courses or diploma courses or any other form of academic confirmations that you may have been through. And at this stage, it's a time when you are finding yourself in that labor market, and that labor market is exactly what I'm trying to, exactly what I'm trying to discuss. What is that labor market? What constitutes that labor market? Is the labor market a valley? Is an island? What do you do? What's there? Who is there? What are the opportunities there? Is there an expectation that something is going to happen there? You know? So these are actually the concerns. And on one hand, I happen to be the UN World Summit Award eminent national expert for Nigeria. And my responsibility has been to take scout, that is, look at people who are innovative around the country, see what they are doing, perhaps advise and promote what they are doing, and try to showcase what they do on the global stage. And it is actually on this global platform that we have our WSA youth ambassadors, like the ambassador with you there, and several others across the country that all were nominated from last year, and they've been doing particularly wonderfully well, the gentleman there handling this matter with you there in Abuja. I am actually to pass the word to say that whenever you step out of school, because the major big question that we do ask is, after school, what next? After school, what next? What you expect is not a ceremony. You know, there's actually nobody there, except if you are misled by some form of, promises, which obviously is nowhere. In those days, yes. Someone can promise you that you're going to have a job, 2 million, 1 million, 500, some thousands of jobs and all that. And they could actually be able to do this and create the offices and have you seated for this, and you are paid for those days. But the game changed. The paradigm is in the same way that where people are not looking at whatever they went to school to do and try to query their course content and try to see what they could bring out of this career course contents, leveraging on the global advancements of artificial intelligence. People really may not have any headway because the game changed a long time, and the reality is just dawning on us. And that is why everyone here has to contribute, because when you contribute, it's not only to your own personal economy. We are talking about a national economy for which, particularly for Nigeria, over 220 million people here are involved. And you've been privileged to be in school, and you are supposed to be the job creators. And it won't be about some of those who are not privileged to have gone to the four corners of the tertiary institutions that you'll be thinking could be able to do this for you. And please just look at the way the world is going. Some of those who don't even have those opportunities are breaking loose because they are gaining from the opportunities newly created by the developments generally around the world. Artificial intelligence is there. It is growing in bounds and leaps. And of course, we're trying to see how in this my talk, I want to stress that you need to be able to consider yourself at your personal level, that your self-leadership development is critical. Self-leadership development is critical. If you are an innovator and you actually cannot even lead yourself, then you can't lead any other thing. You can't actually lead a vision, on innovation. What is it? No, innovation. Innovation is slightly different from you inventing things. If you are being inventive, it's like you just have several ideas. But whether these ideas can be measured by some forms of digital services or some form of digital products will remain another thing. Because if you are innovative, innovation will always bring about digital services and products. But if you are being inventive and we cannot see the product, we cannot see your services, forget it. That means you just want to go on a bandwagon where people are promised 30-day wage or salaries, and you call that the job. There's nothing called job anymore. What you see today will be that of a service, where what you earn will be the value of the service that someone has enjoyed from what you have done, and not necessarily that you were offered a chair and a table for 30, 31 days and you were paid an XY amount of money. No matter what the amount is, you will never be sustained. So this is actually the direction and what people need to begin to realize. There's actually not that free lunch unless you can create the lunch that sustains your e-welfare for tomorrow. Now, the next will be looking at that from writing on the self-development, you being able to evolve some business, some smart digital enterprise capabilities. You should be able to create. You went to school. Look at it. I did maybe mechanical engineering. There are 1,000,001 tools today that could make me become a better engineer tomorrow. And that is the reason. Anywhere in the world, these tools are there to help you, grow from where you were before and turn those courses that were not important, that you were thinking wasn't relevant. Today, I am actually assuring you that there is no course of study. Please mark my words, that there is actually no course of study that is becoming not important, that is not relevant in nation building. There's just none. Before now, yes. That I was an undergraduate or a graduate in a particular course, I couldn't find jobs in them because there are no opportunities. Yes, at that time was because the content that you had and all those things, nobody within the ecosystem was developing them. But it is now your responsibility to develop those courses, because people coming after you need to be able to make sure that they are actually redeeming the benefits of those career contents. And that is why it's important that you need to be able to begin to build smart digital enterprise. And when you have such capabilities, it pays you. And on the third note will be that of innovation exposure. We don't know it all. In the country here, unless sometimes you have had an opportunity to be in Europe or perhaps somewhere in the United States, or some corners where you've been exposed to seeing what other of your peers are doing in different sectors, in different ideas. And the whole idea is for you to have this lens, and you can actually bring this home to develop your local environment. It won't be about your permanent or an exposure that gives you a permanent migration. Now, if you actually get to stay exposed and get migrated, what you call the Japa syndrome, then you now realize that you have simply left the entire benefits of your local ecosystem and you are engaging with those of the foreign environments, and you're rather careless that whatever happens at home remains so. But don't forget, as you are leaving home, many more people from different other ecosystems are tapping into this country. Indians are very particularly interested in Africa, not only in Nigeria, but then Nigeria as it is still has a lot of potential that many more people outside several other sectors, what are the Chinese doing here? What are the Indians doing here? And so on and so forth. So as you are migrating, people are also coming back here because you are rather not discovering your potential to develop them, and you are thinking migrating somewhere else will give you that. And that is not it. For me, by my storyline, I actually run a software company. I read computer science, and from computer science, I've gone to do finance and banking, because in my session earlier today with the almost 2,000 sets of undergraduates in their multipurpose hall there in Mountain Trust I had to let them know that it's not about what the teacher is teaching me. They can just go, the teacher owes you the content delivery. He has to maintain that, he has to mention those things. You have the textbooks, you have the materials, but then judgmentally, they have to give you all those things, and you have to pick it out of from there and begin to evolve it in different arena to recreate some of those things for your benefits. And that's exactly what is happening. So when people read a particular course, try to see how you can actually develop that course. And once you are good, you realize that you can create a niche for yourself, and you can write on that thereafter, and that actually will support and offer you the kind of e-welfare that we're talking about, which actually what guarantees your future. And if that happens at your own single point, and look at the kind of multiplier effect of all of this across the country, you realize that you are doing yourself some good, just like we are also showing concern for the rest of the population. So with my own capacity, I offer people and innovators around the country, particularly Nigeria, even though we have programs that we actually run across the entire African continent, as it were. And our goal is to ensure that we do and offer as much as we can to ensuring that we can get Africans up from wherever we may be, and all that. We actually use the World Summit Awards to offer that platform, to identify products from different parts of the country, and we're actually able to showcase them on the global stage. And in the present situation, we are currently in a jury process where we are currently evaluating innovations from over 180 countries, and that is currently going on. And this exercise started yesterday and to be on up till the 1st and 2nd week of December. And winners will be announced, and all winners will be assembled in Hyderabad in India next year to celebrate these winners. And this happens every year, and Nigeria hasn't been doing badly. If you go to the World Summit Awards, WSA-global.org site, you can go to see the past winners, and you realize that Nigerians have been doing so well. Nigerians have actually been doing so well. So a body of other national experts from all over the world, about 180, 80-something countries are volunteering to do this, because nobody pays us a dime for this. Even our government may not even know we do this. We won't be on the agenda, unfortunately. So we just do this as the citizens that we are. And that's the kind of passion, and that's why it can be successful, because this is never on any parallel, on any propaganda, and we've sustained it for over 16, 17 years ongoing. And this is what we just do. Now, this is like other experts from different other countries around the world. And to also share with you that why artificial intelligence, why? Recently, we've been seeing certain reports about the impact of artificial intelligence, as you can see, that technology, opportunities were actually, it got increased by the influence of artificial intelligence shortly after the pandemic. Now, even world GDPs also grew. At least we've always had semiconductors, we've always had computers, we've always had software, internet, cloud, mobile opportunities, and all of that. But as soon as the wave of the artificial intelligence got up, there are several things happening in leaps and bounds, and we should be prepared that this is not about the computer scientists. This is not a show for computer scientists. Every person, every human being, no matter what your profession is, AI is not technology. AI is you and your course content. So that is how important this discussion can be. So I've had the opportunity of sharing myself as an innovator. I invented, because I've actually invented a stock market solution that has ruled in this country for more than 20 years. If you're a capital market operator, you're an investor, whoever is your capital market operator may have been using my software in the last 25, going to 30 years in this country, or in Ghana, or in any other part of African country. So we at our own central level need to think of what can be mine, what can be that niche that I can concentrate and pay attention. And you are the that small economy that we need at the small level, the micro startup that you have to be to creating those digital services that sustains you, many others, and of course the general society at large. So, of course, I'm an innovator, a parent, a professional member, and of course, these are just characteristics of a human being, and so it could be for any other person. And artificial intelligence, as we say, we just say that these things are expanding from around the world, and you can see the influence on GDPs of economies, activities of economies. It can make you rich, it can make you poor. So artificial intelligence, generally put, is just to refer to the use of technologies that build machines and computers that can mimic cognitive functions associated with human intelligence. And these functions could include understanding spoken or written language, analyzing data, making recommendations, and many, many more. So I really would not, because it's not about the buzz of the word AI and the speeches. No, we should abandon conferences and get into what will make us really practicalize what we are doing. And guess what? It's actually in the skill is in how you yourself can try it out with what you already know, because you can't be trying it out on new things. You already graduates, don't forget. You're already having a lot of content. So everybody here is a programmer, because everybody who can actually solve a problem, who can actually see a problem, put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finite steps of solving a problem, you are indirectly or directly a programmer, because problems solved in any language today, language does not make any sense. Managing science people don't even have to write programs, and they're achieving programming goals. And that is the power of the environment that we are talking about. So it's a leveler. So it's not about the computer scientist. It's more about you, your content, and what you want to achieve. And there's actually no classroom for innovation. It depends on yourself and what you do. So just sharing that the World Summit Award actually is a global network of startups, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, mentors, jurors, IT experts, governments, international organizations, and so on and so forth, so that we don't have to, because not too much about it, but you can always find this out on the wsa-global.org site for more information on the World Summit. And it is actually something that makes us to see how we can actually look at how we can develop our e-government, our e-business, our e-learning, our e-health, employment, environment, agriculture, sciences, and a lot more. And these are some of the goals that you see down there on the Sustainable Development Goals, achievements, and all that. So on personal leadership, I just mentioned that that's actually something that is for you. You have to just develop yourself. Like I said, you can't actually be an innovator without that personal discipline, that personal leadership. You being able to know who you are and owning the integrity that could deliver what is best for you. Then ability to build your own enterprise. I also mentioned that you being able to digitally create products that is of yours is also something essential that I mentioned. And of course, like I also shared earlier in the day, that who is afraid to start your own venture? Are you afraid to start your venture? May I know, if you are afraid to start your venture, what is the fears? What actually the fears? If you put it forward, you realize that you are just having that phobia for nothing. Even sometimes, if it were even money, it may not even be money, because more is what you have in your head. It's not about the prominence of one particular influential person in government, because do you even have the government that will have the time for you? You won't have them. You won't even see them. You won't be the attraction. And this is actually the essence. So rather than you complain about the country that you should be happy about as the true citizen that you are, you should face your goals, face your developments, and you'll stand out tomorrow. And you perhaps will be the differential that you can possibly see as the asset of the country. So other strategic things that we mentioned about, I'll just flip through things. Innovation exposure, I mentioned that you don't have to just be that I'm actually leaving the country for the purpose of migration. You are basically doing that, and you look foolish when you sometimes will get step out there and you don't meet what you think you are going to meet at the other end, because there is just no how that you get into a strange land and you suddenly will become something better than where you are coming from, obviously. Okay, And that's why sometimes people get homesick when things happen and all that. So when in the course of doing this, actually, I had to share that in this same country, the impact and effort of what we've been doing, we have tried to see how we have used this our work to influence an ecosystem that I call the Innovationbed Africa. Innovationbed Africa simply portrays a paradigm that says that if you have not dressed up your bed, then how you wake out of the bed or sleep on the bed the next time, it's all yours. Nobody's coming to dress up the bed for you. So you need to, if we made all that mistake, we all have to get back and dress up our beds, and relive the life that is expected of us in this new era. We can't jump the gun. You obviously can't jump the gun. Now, look at on innovation that I'm promising, I'm saying that you should get into. If you look at this arc, look at Africa. Asia has about 14% in participation. This is the global process of the World Summit Award globally. This report was recorded, was actually released some time ago. Then we have Africa at just 6%. Africa is doing 6%, when Europe alone is doing 45%. Asia 14%. North America about 11%, the Arab countries about 11%, Latin America about 12%, and Africa is contributing 6%. So how then do you want to compete? When AI is powering economies, where would you be? Oh, you come out and say we are looking for job. The government, would you have the government to even direct you? The major force is in you. The major attention is actually in you to correct the country. And this is bitter reality. Okay? And that human beings have actually been involved. In the record of my recording here, some Nigerians have been spending their blood for this country as Nigerians, the true Nigerians they are. And you won't find them there in the propaganda that you find. Please look at their records. From the early years where you have iPolice, Budget, I'm sure you're familiar with Budget. Budget was discovered on this platform in 2012. And since then, we managed this 10-year, more than 10, 15, or whatever, and we are still studying what they are doing, still researching, and trying to see what they can still do for promotion, and making sure that we are yielding new ones. But where is the government? A time will come that the right government for this country and these economies will be measured by how many innovators that they are creating for their neighborhood, not by how much of billions corruptly put together that they are enriching to themselves, but by how many more people are rebuilding these nations. We're talking about nation builders that you are creating, true nation builders, and we can see them. We can see them. Transparent Nigeria, Okwaimo, a sitting governor was taken to Sri Lanka to pick his award on the product on education, even when he was governor in 2013. That was Engineer Ralph Aragbeshola. Okwaimo, Transparent Nigeria he was still a student in Harvard. That was Uchechi Wela, the son of the current WTO Secretary General or Director General. But these are people, not just people of influence, but people who have contributed, and they are still contributing. And many more. Omomi, for instance, a medical student did this even well as a man in the medical school. He's become so popular, and we know what he has done in the medical field for maternal care solutions in this country, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. We have the Jumi, the Check It app is doing so well on the Humbert Foundation. Carrot NG, you truck it, and a lot more. So these platforms have identified several Nigerians, and that is what we are telling you, that it's not just about the rave. Oh, I'm a youth corper. I want to be this. I'm looking for a work in a bank. Did your career even have a banking line, whatever? You don't have it. If everybody moves on sociology and get to banking, who develops sociology? Now, these economies will be seen. Look at, for instance, in Nigeria, we can proudly tell you that we know who are powering innovation from their helpless corners. I can even put it that way. And they are world-class innovators. Under the open government, you can look at that. Look at the budget I mentioned. The poor man is just doing his work from his little corners. Look at Solomon there. Look at Peter Hesse there. This Peter Hesse, if he's actually giving attention, would have actually addressed the insecurity we have in this country. But the truth is, do we want that solution? Do we want that solution? I was in the university today. Power was a challenge. And guess what? We have youth here who will deliver these energy issues. But do we truly want solutions? So I don't get onto bandwagons to begin to banter things that will never work. And I wouldn't be here and see people begin to misuse and begin to misinform on technology, because technology will never fail you. Man will fail on the use of technology. Okay, so there's a passion we build, and we don't mince words, because this happens in different other places. Now, we have education, health, we have business. This is okay. Omomi, this is a team with Omomi. This is Uchechi Wela. In fact, this picture was actually taken when he came for his award on Transparent Nigeria in Sri Lanka. And that was the same year. He was also there with the former governor of Osun State years back. And this is Dr. Charles. These are human beings. Now, so under the business and commerce and several other economies like tourism, green energy, smart settlements, inclusion and empowerment, and so on and so forth, is powered by humans. And Nigerians are not lacking behind. Please, and leave the whole fact that the country has been messed up as we see it. And even with what some of these were doing, this was world record to share that Nigeria's innovation capacity participation was rated #1. This was the WC official report. Sri Lanka coming next, Pakistan following, Bangladesh, India. We are doing our bit. And what we say is, please go ahead, continue your work. It will be noticed because the world is seeing you. Okay? And at this point, we actually put something together about 10 points, ways how you can tips. If you have an innovation, the best ideas, what would you do? We shared a couple of tips, about 10 points, where we have to look at what you need to do to perfectly submit your submissions and all of that. This is a winner. And I have several points. These are all world-class innovators, and they're human beings. Look at this. Emmanuel Abba here just won Total Energies Award about a week ago. And the poor boy is still in school. And this guy will solve our energy problem. Is it institutionally, from any organization? And bring these guys together, and we'll see solutions. But guess what? I'll just ask the question again. Do we truly want a solution? We have a problem. It's a major economic, societal decadence. Several more. She just won the World Summit for Nigeria last year, and she was celebrated this year. This is Cyril Collins. She was celebrated this year in Chile. And several others like that. Okay? All right? Wonderful guy. In virtual realities, Ibrahim Arome. Okay? And of course, he was also celebrated in Mexico last year. Uchechi, and this is into what budget does on the global level. This guy is doing a perfect job in Zamfara State, Zamtracker. Please go check that up. And how else would anybody just sit back and you're saying you're looking for? This is Cooks doing beautiful job in the area of education, and she's so well, and she was actually a global champion at the Mexico Winners Congress. Okay, and we now put it to you that if you are an innovator and you innovate, that kings want to listen to you. Kings will actually want to listen to you. In fact, at this website where you have Africa-AI-xcloudintegra.com you get to realize that we are actually dealing with everybody from every course of discipline, that you can be successful with artificial intelligence. Not just to go online, because there's actually this new trend. People go online, run 30 minutes, 1 hour session, and you download a certificate. You now begin to say you are certified. You need a mentor. So that is another dangerous trend. People are just downloading certificates and carrying shoulders that they are certified. AI consultants, AI this, AI that. AI, they learn more. AI is about your own professional process. And this is what we pass around. And you need to be very careful about this. It's not about, if you download 100 certificate today, who are you going to show that? Like I told you, are you going to get a job based on that? Forget it. Forget it. That is not it. It is actually with what you want to do with what you are learning online. That is the bitter truth. Okay? So, and that, of course, if you innovate, it will take you in this country, perhaps the only few human beings I can be talking to in government who probably want to hear someone like me was the late Professor Dora Quilly, for instance. She just decided she has to meet with this young person. Then I was younger, who has been doing one thing or the other. And she scheduled a meeting to be with me in Lagos on our way for perhaps a conference in China or thereabouts. And who am I? But if you know that something is right for you to do, kings will want to listen to you. And this is what this part of it is. This is the current speaker in Lagos State. Some people, of course, you know all this. I don't. Former minister, my chairman at the World Summit, the current WTO chairman, people will want to listen to you if you're an innovator. And that is the bitter truth. The former president, you need to just do something. Somebody wants to just stay close to you. And when I currently groom new and imagine innovators from the part of the country, any country we get to, as we celebrate our country, because this same country can be better than, no other country can be better than your own country. That's the bitter truth. And we feel proud being one. But what we don't want is that these leaders just have their own game. They know what they are doing. This is the former governor, right, trying to prepare his media listing in Sri Lanka when he came for the appointment, and he was accompanied by the Philips Consultant CEO on that listing. Many people want to listen to you. The former Mukisa Kitui, Secretary General of the UNCTAD, some years back, Deputy Secretary General, and we've done this many times over, the former president, and so on. So the bottom line here is that please, we need to be less inventive, but be more innovative so that we can be identified with some products and services. You know, the power to redefine the future is actually the actions you take today. And that is why it's important. As students or graduates, please make skilling up, adaptability, and personal growth lifelong priorities. I think this is just the little word I want to have with you today. Thank you, Mr. Olainka Tokwe. I will just sign off at this point. If you have any question, please help me just put that together and let me also have them. Tokwe, thank you for the great job that you're doing. And I thank everybody and the participants at the program. Thank you so very much. My name remains Amos Emmanuel. So, Mr. Tokwe, are you there?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. So, Tokwe, are you there? Okay.